Hare Krishna devotees.
Thank you so much for joining today. On the Saturday evening, we are continuing our discussion from the Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, 27th verse and 28th verse we complete today. So, very important two verses where Lord Krishna has a lot of education for all of us on relationships. Relationships in this world, which is very important perspective of us leading a particular way of life in this world. How to relate each and every living entities in this world. What is the conditioned relationship? What is an spiritual relationship? These two are very important to understand. Most of us lead our life without even differentiating what is conditioned relationship and what is spiritual relationship. Most of us are born and die without even having an awakening of this knowledge on what is true relationship means. Yeah? How can I awaken the true relationship? Yeah? So we will see that in these two verses, Lord Krishna is summarizing 7th chapter, knowledge of the Absolute, by conclusion of very powerful verses to let us know how we are conditioned in this life and what is reawakening means for all of us. These two verses, if we read properly, if we understand properly, we have, in essence, we have understood philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So the 27th verse of the 7th chapter, Ichcha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Ichcha means desire, dvesha means hate. Samuttena, they have arisen from how they are born? They are born because of dvandva. This world is the world of duality. Moha, and we become illusioned in it. Sarva bhutani sammoham. This itself, the duality and the illusion, are so powerful that they can put everyone into sleep in this world. What does sleep means? Sleep means they can push us into the darkness. Darkness, forgetting our fundamental understanding of the purpose of human life. Which it can make us to forget our real purpose of human life and run in the path of illusion. Sarge yanti parantapa, that is the, Sarge means the creation, and that's how this entire material world has been created. Translation: O son of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by the dualities arising from desire and hate. So, we need to understand the principle of creation of this material world. Lord Krishna summarizes in this verse the nature of this material world. The Sukhe Dukkhe Samaya Krutva, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, you need to become equipoised with happiness and distress. Lord Krishna actually speaks about the duality in so many verses of Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna, the whole root cause of his suffering was he didn't have a proper understanding of why he is fighting in this battlefield. He was thinking his fight for this battlefield, in this battlefield, is to win the war, get back the kingdom, but not at the cost of killing the relatives. Yeah. So he wanted enjoyment of having the kingdom, showing the kingdom to his relatives, and extracting the juice from it, that see, we have reclaimed the kingdom back. But Krishna's objective of having this war was the higher understanding of establishing Dharma. He wanted to utilize Arjuna as an instrument to establish Dharma, and he wanted Arjuna to follow his footsteps. So he said, Sukhe dukhe samay krutva labho valabho jaya jayo. You had to fight in this war. Sukhe dukhe. Don't think about your happiness. Your definition of happiness is very, very, very short-sighted. You want everyone to be alive so that you can show them and you can say that, hey, I won the war. And make them feel, jealous. Again, you want them to, have blood burning, boiling, seeing that you have got back the kingdom. Sukhe dukhe. Dukkha, you are thinking that misery means, you might lose your relatives. Samaya krutva, you need to be equipoised. Do not define what is your happiness, what is your misery. You need to align to the definition of what is happiness and misery from the perspective of dharma. That is what Lord Krishna told to Arjuna. Labho alabho, jaya jayo. He said, labha alabho, why are you calculating what is profit for you, what is loss for you? Who are you to calculate? You are just an instrument here to fight in this battlefield. And you had to follow my instruction. Jaya jayo, don't even think about whether you are going to win or lose. Win or lose is not in your hand. Your only occupation is to fight in the battlefield. Such a very, very higher aspects of life Lord Krishna teaches us through the medium of Arjuna. Tato yuddhaya yuddhasya. You had to fight for the sake of fighting only. Naivam papam avakyasi. By doing that, you will never ever incur sin. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna. Arjuna's question was, by fighting in this battlefield, I will accumulate so many sins. Krishna told, be equipoised. By being neutral, following the instruction of me, just like when the country orders the army to fight and kill, whoever kills the opposition, they are glorified. They are not put into prison. They are not punished. Similarly, Arjuna has to fight on the order of Krishna. By doing that, he will never ever incur sin because he is following the order of Krishna. So, Krishna speaks about duality from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important for us to understand. This entire world is actually created on the principles of duality. We become infatuated with something. We are averse of something. I'm infatuated with this, I like this. I'm averse of this, I hate this. This is, from going on from time immemorial. I'm attached to it, I like it. I don't have any connection with this, I hate this. So this entire infatuation and aversion puts us in great bewilderment. Each one of us are bewildered in this world. How many don't think that we are bewildered in this world? We come across every day some situation that bewilders us. How should I move about? And mind tells us that this is the way I need to enjoy in this world. Already I have a mind which is telling me that this is the way you need to enjoy in this world. And I have a desire to enjoy because mind is actually directing me. The ego is driving the mind, you enjoy in this way. And mind is hankering for pleasure, directed by the ego. And anything that stops my conception of enjoyment, I start hating. This is called the conditioning that each and every living entity are born with. This creation, as I said, Krishna told, Sukhe dukhe samay krutva labho valabho jaya jayo. He brought in three dualities. Sukha dukkha, happiness, distress. Labha alabho, gain and safety, or loss or gain. Yeah, this is another duality. Jaya Jayo, victory and defeat. Don't worry about these dualities at all. Krishna tells Arjuna, your duty is to fight. Similarly, there are so many dualities in this world. Pleasure, there's a duality, pain. As soon as you say, I have a pleasure with this, there's a duality. I have a pain. So, Divya is saying, I have a car, I have a happiness. When the dent is there on the car, there's a distress. Yeah, duality. One object can create a duality. I think she is my wife. I think he is my husband. I think he is my son. I think she is my daughter. I think this is my family. That itself is the biggest duality that puts all the politicians into commission basis. I need to make money. I need to make money. I need to make money because my family, and there is no end to this earning for the family. And we would have earned for one family. We will earn for the next generation of the family. We will earn for the next generation of the family. We earn for next 10 generation of the family. And unfortunate thing is, law of the nature don't preserve that much of savings of you for the next 10 generation. One generation after yours come and destroy everything. This is the nature of this world. Job, yeah, Ratnavati is saying job, everyone on the first day of the job, they become so inclined. Wow, wonderful happiness I am deriving. Within few days, it becomes monotonous and boring. Yeah, I can control everything is a duality. Yeah, we come to know every second, none are actually in my control. My body itself is not in my control. What to say about things which are beyond my body? Mind, one of the functions of mind is to accept and reject. Mind says, I accept this. Hence, I reject other things. Yeah. Win or loss, day and night. Yes. Some people are, very, very hours to the day. They think, why this day is coming? They enjoy nights. So, there are so many dualities here. Something is tasty, the same thing might be disgusting for other. I love someone tall, immediately I hate someone who is small or a short. Yeah. I like someone who is chubby. Immediately that means that I hate someone who is lean. Yeah. So this kind of duality is conditioned us throughout our life. How can we be broad-minded enough to accommodate everything? So this kind of conditioning is predominantly sitting in us in all the living entities, all the human beings. As soon as we are born, we are actually conditioned to this. So, all the offering in this world, whatever the nature offers, I start thinking that it is for my pleasure. And, I start identifying only the favorable things that actually gives me pleasure. I start discarding those unfavorable things. Actually our intelligence is designed in such a way that it tells you how to actually experience desires and enjoy in this world. And it tells you that more offering you have, more accumulation you have, more is an opportunity to fulfill the desire. The more opportunity you have to fulfill the desire, you are better positioned to experience happiness. But unfortunately, our intelligence goes wrong. More we try to enjoy material opportunities that are in front of us, it increases more and more illusion, and we become more and more conditioned. Everyone are suffering in this world not because of dearth in enjoyment, There is ample opportunity to enjoy. Since because they want to experience each and every opportunity, they are in illusion. That's why this concept of don't marry, marriage means bondage, marriage means increased responsibility, have just girlfriends, and spend whole of your life having girlfriends and boyfriends. Don't tie with anyone. This why this modern mentality has come, because of our heavy repository of lust. Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapma vidhi eva hi vairinam. These are the biggest of enemies. Lust, we just want to enjoy. Lust doesn't like responsibility. Love likes responsibility. Love accommodates responsibility. Lust doesn't accommodate responsibility. Lust is a timely experience. Love is a long-term engagement. So, our intelligence is always tuned towards more, you accumulate, more you enjoy. That is the material intelligence. Hence, Lord Krishna tells us as foolish in previous verses, that we decide our happinesses because of so many accumulation. These accumulation are never ever going to give us happiness, but it creates more and more illusion. So how do we understand the bewilderment? For example, if a child, as soon as the child is born, what does the child do first? It starts crying. Why it is crying? It doesn't know where it is born, why it is born, where it landed. Absolutely no idea. It is completely bewildered and confused. It sees each and every person and it doesn't know who they are. And the first thing the doctor does is put the child and press the child on the mother's skin. Yeah? They make the child, each and every part of the child, to press against the mother's skin, so that the child recognizes that this is the source of my birth. It takes some days for the child to even become accommodated with its own mother. And the child starts, now child is adjusted to the mother, immediately child starts crying seeing the father. Now father, it needs to adjust to the father. See the bewilderment. So child is bewildered seeing each and every foreign person. For it, everyone is foreign only. Now child needs to adjust to its relatives, one after the other. It needs to accommodate, it needs to relate to them and slowly adjust to them. From the state of bewilderment, slowly through education, child starts seeing all the relatives and understands that they are mine relatives. Yeah. So there is a bewilderment, then there is an education. And I'm giving you this example. This is a very, very minor attribute of bewilderment. It is not, it is not a major part of bewilderment. We are all suffering from major bewilderment. This is a minor bewilderment. This is insignificant bewilderment. What is a major bewilderment? Even though we are grown, we always start thinking he is mine, he is my wife, he is my husband, and this is my child, this is my family, this is my society, this is my district, this is my community, this is my nation. This is a major portion of bewilderment which we never ever learn at all to purify. We are bewildered because we don't know our near ones, who are they actually. We always think that they are related to my body, that's it. All the bodily identification is the biggest obstacle of bewilderment. I gave you the child example so that you can understand what bewilderment means. This is a minor bewilderment in our life. If through education, child learns and child becomes all right. But this bewilderment we suffer through, and unfortunately, irony is that many don't even think that I am suffering because of this bewilderment. For example, when I was a cricket fanatic, there was a match between India and Pakistan, and I think there was only one ball left, and uh, Pakistan was supposed to get 4 runs, and Javed Miandad on the last ball hit the sixer. That was the summer holidays for us, and I was watching that. And when Miandad hit the last ball six, that was the end of my life. I cried and cried and cried. It took me nearly 15 days to 1 month to come out of that bewilderment. Those days, we never used to have so many one-day international matches. You used to have one or two. After that, it's over. Nowadays, every one or the other day, there is a cricket match. It took me nearly 1 month to come out that, my life is not ended. My life, still I am alive. Till the time I was not liking the food I am eating, I'm not liking going out. Every time I wanted to discuss with someone and share my agony that India lost to Pakistan. So, this kind of bewilderment, we all suffer. We all suffer. There are so many examples of this bewilderment. And if we clearly examine why I am suffering, my major source of suffering is because of wrong identification. So, we need to understand how to come out of this bewilderment. Very, very important. This bewilderment, we need to actually come out. The only medication for that is to understand root of our relationship. Root of our relationship is very, very important for us to understand, because today I'm becoming related to each and everything because I think that from the bodily perspective. As soon as we relate with Krishna, everything becomes meaningful. Krishna says, Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam Vidhi Partha Sanatana. I am the seed giving father. Sarvasya chaham Hrudi Sannivishto Matasputir Ganam Apohanam cha. Krishna is sitting in each and everyone's heart. I am related to the another person because of Krishna. What is the commonality between me and him? If you like, for example, the mathematics, if you take, two objects are related to each other because of one commonality. What is that one commonality? In my heart to Krishna resides, in the another person's heart also Krishna resides. As soon as I like Krishna, as soon as he likes Krishna, we are united. For example, if husband likes one breakfast item and the wife likes one, wife knows only to make that breakfast item only, both husband and wife are united forever. There is no fight at all. Because husband also like only that breakfast item, wife knows only to make that. So there is no fight at all. Similarly, what is the commonality between two individuals is Krishna only. Lord Krishna. Sarvasya chaham aham Hrudi Sannivishto. I am sitting in each and everyone's heart as Paramatma. We are Jivatma. Yeah. We as a Jivatma has Paramatma, Krishna as the partner. I told about this last week. Unless and until we understand Lord Krishna as a life partner eternally, we will never ever be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. We discussed elaborately last week. So, what is the relationship of the two individuals with each other? Krishna. As soon as we identify Krishna, immediately everything becomes an opportunity for us to grow. Otherwise, when we do not identify it with Krishna, every object creates conflict. That's why Prahlad Maharaj, he was a 5-year-old boy. Hiranyakashipu, just see the example. Hiranyakashipu had everything. He was the owner of everything. Nothing was there which didn't belong to Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad was born. Hiranyakashipu saw, Prahlad is my son. Prahlad said, you are not my father. See the duality. It can happen for Hiranyakashipu. Just imagine, we are nothing. Hiranyakashipu was owner of this entire universe. Indra was in his hand. Entire heavenly kingdoms were dancing according to him. But the son was born, Prahlad. Prahlad said, my father is Lord Krishna. Vishnu is my father. You are not my father. Hiranyakashipu said, glorify me. Prahlad said, I am going to glorify Hari, Lord Hari, not you. See the duality. For Hiranyakashipu also duality existed. Hiranyakashipu couldn't tolerate this. One duality was enough for him to collapse him and actually, become the source of his death, become the source of his unhappiness, distress, agony, frustration. He couldn't able to sleep because he was not happy with all of the entire universe who was considering him as a supreme. He was only worried about this one boy, Prahlad, his son, who was not considering him as the supreme. When Hiranyakashipu himself can get bewildered, who are we? We are absolutely nothing. So Prahlad said, I am not at all liking your philosophy of politics. Hiranyakashipu said, go to the school, Prahlad, you are getting old. You need to go to school and learn political science. Prahlad said, I am not at all interested in political science. Political science tells you to love this. As soon as you try to love, immediately this nature is that you have to hate something else. So, love means hate from the material objective perspective. So, I want to love everything in this world. To love everything in this world, I need to recognize to whom everything belongs to and love that person. Hence, root of everything is Krishna, Lord Hari, Vishnu. So I need to love him. As soon as I love him, I love everything. Hence, I do not want to go into this political science of managing this material world. For me, spiritual education is enough. See Prahlad Maharaj, 5-year-old boy, educating his father Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry and he wanted to kill Prahlad by so many ways. And the history is in front of us. Anyone who opposes my idea is an enemy number 1. Krishna is explaining in this verse. Yeah, very, very important verse for us to really learn. Prahlad Maharaj says, you are hating Hari because he is supreme. You do not want to consider your ego is making you to believe that you are supreme. And considering that someone is already supreme and controlling you, you are not able to accept that fact. See how it affects each one of us in this world. We basically are conditioned to certain way of extracting happiness in this world through material objects. And because of that conditioning, we can never ever be happy. If Hiranyakashipu can't be happy, how can we be happy? It is not possible. That's why we need to purify our heart to place Lord Krishna in our heart and relate each and everything in this world with Lord Krishna as the source. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Lord Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the supreme creator of everything, Lord Krishna is saying. Mata sarvam pravartate, entire creation has come from me. Iti matva, understanding this, bhajante ma, one who actually, chants my name, Buddha bhava samanvitaha, he is the most intelligent person. Hiranyakashipu was not intelligent. So Lord Krishna now tells, next verse, how this conditioning can become purified. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Krishna says persons who have acted piously in previous lives and this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion. Krishna talked about how delusion actually makes us suffer in this world. Now Krishna is telling how to come out of the delusion. We need to purify. We need to sacrifice. That's why if you go to Kashi Vishwanath temple, they ask, what do you like most? My father said, I like most is brinjal. So he said, I'm sacrificing the eggplant. Brinjal I will not eat anymore. Then he came back from Kashi Vishwanath and one day my mother made badneka goju, means curry of brinjal. So that was only one item which was there and my father said, I cannot eat. Mother asked why. I have promised that I have given it up. Immediately the fight started with my mother and father. Whom did you ask before leaving? And then, somehow or the other, my father continued for few weeks. After that, he started eating eggplant again, brinjal again. So we need to sacrifice something. Then only purity will happen. To sacrifice, we need to be attached. We need to love something to actually give up something in this world. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasi rasavarjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. Param društva. As soon as we actually see, when Purandaradasa saw accumulation of the wealth was the source of misery for him, wife said, give it away. Because Lord Krishna came to Purandaradasa house and actually played with him, with the wealth itself to show him how wealth can cause distress. And Purandaradasa understood this entire wealth which has accumulated is useless. And Purandaradasa wanted to give it to everyone, thinking that this is my wealth. I want to give it to everyone before I leave everything. No one was ready to take because Lord Krishna came and told everyone that how can you actually take this gold wealth accumulated by making, by making others cry. He has accumulated wealth by making others cry. If you accept this jewel from Purandaradasa, you are going to share his sin. Lord Krishna told each and every citizen of his village. Though Purandaradasa wanted to distribute all the jewels which he had accumulated, no one was ready to accept. This was around 500 year back story. So, wife told Virapurandara, since you are thinking this wealth belongs to you, that itself is an illusion. Come out of this illusion that this wealth belongs to you. Just put a tulsi on top of the house and just come out of the house. So Purandara went to the top of his house, put the tulsi, Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu, he said, and just walked out of the house. Because it belongs to Krishna, it is Krishna's will, how he wants to distribute. Who are we? That is the ultimate philosophy. So we need to sacrifice something for gaining higher happiness in this life. More we accumulate, more we suffer. More we accumulate Krishna in our life, more we become happy. So the only remedy for our happiness in this world is to utilize each and everything by placing tulsi on the top of it. Just like how Purandara placed tulsi on the top of his house, each and every wealth, we need to place tulsi on the top of it. As soon as you put tulsi on the top of it, it belongs to not me but Krishna. We need to utilize each and everything what we have for the pleasure of Krishna. So, yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. By doing this karma, Krishna says, dvandva moha nirmukta. Duality is there because we think it is for my enjoyment. As soon as you think it is for my enjoyment, immediately duality comes. Dvandva, duality rise to illusion because more and more we enjoy material things, more and more illusion we are. So how to come out of illusion? Dvandva moha nirmukta, by doing punya karmanam, by sacrificing whatever our earnings are in the pleasure of Krishna. By accumulating this punya, slowly our poison within the heart starts removing one after the other. Bhajante mam tradavrataha. By slowly doing that, one day we come to the platform where we can chant Krishna's name peacefully. We can chant Krishna's name with experiencing ultimate happiness while chanting the names of Krishna. That is the true pleasure of human life. Bhajante mam dhradavrataha. How to become dhradavrata? Determination. Most of us struggle to become determined. Picking up Bhagavad Gita itself is a big struggle and reading it. We think something else is more valuable than this. So determination is very, very important. How determination comes? Slowly, if we take up this path of Krishna consciousness, by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant one round every day, 6 minutes it takes. Chant one round. Slowly that purification happens. Next, you spend, after a few months, you habituated chanting one round of Krishna's names, then start chanting 4 rounds, which takes around 20 minutes. Slowly increase your attachment for Krishna, love for Krishna. Ultimately, that solves all the problems of this world. By loving Krishna, He will give us the intelligence how to utilize the wealth of Krishna in His service. Arjuna came out of bewilderment. By learning to fight for Krishna, we will come out of the bewilderment by learning to use wealth for Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.